What was Yellow Springs in ancient China? How to meet in the Yellow Springs. Younger brother who trained a large army under the guise of hunting. At the age of 35, Zheng Zhuang Gong found himself at war. His younger brother used the army to seize several cities, and Zheng Zhuang Gong's response was to go on a trip. Why a trip? He was afraid his brother was moving too slowly and cautiously, so he hoped his absence would speed up his brother's attack. As soon as the younger brother's army left the city, the ambushing army attacked and took over the city. The younger brother discovered that his home was gone and turned back to save it, but Zheng Zhuang Gong's army was already waiting for them. One general said, "The king's younger brother has rebelled, and I have received orders from the king to quell the rebellion. Your army is illegal, so disband now." The younger brother's army disbanded, and Zheng Zhuang Gong's army was a well-trained and experienced regular army, having fought battles far and wide. The younger brother's army had only ever hunted, and their families were still in the city, all wanting to go back and check on them. So the younger brother fled with a dozen people, to a city in the former Yan state that his father had destroyed. But soon, they were surrounded. When an enemy is surrounded, there are usually two options: attack or persuade them to surrender. However, Zheng Zhuang Gong's army did not make any move, neither attacking nor persuading surrender. Zheng Zhuang Gong, who was very concerned about his reputation. He waited for his younger brother to commit suicide instead of killing him himself. This was because he did not want to be labeled a fratricide. After his brother left a will, Zheng Zhuang Gong solved his brother's problems and then dealt with his mother's issues. What is the content of a will? Tell people to take the younger brother's son to Wei State for refuge, which will be discussed later. Although he was a filial son, he hated his mother because she blamed him for her difficult childbirth, even though it was not his fault. He had never met his mother since then. Unfortunately, his brother had gone down the wrong path due to mother's poor education and ultimately caused Zheng Zhuang Gong to be labeled a fratricide. Furious at this, he asked his mother to move out and said that they would only meet again in the Yellow Springs, which refers to the underworld in ancient Chinese mythology. This meant that they would not meet again in the living world. For decades, Zheng Zhuang Gong lived with a constant sense of unease. He could have resolved the problems earlier, but he was determined to protect his country's reputation and be a filial son. Finally, he could relax in the safety and warmth of his home, but being a good person is not always easy. Zheng Zhuang Gong, who said he and mother would only meet again in the Yellow Springs, but he soon regretted. Despite not having a close relationship with his mother, he still loved her. However, once he had made this statement, he realized the mistake he had made. In ancient China, people had great respect and fear for the spirits and ghosts of the underworld, and they believed that breaking an oath made to them would bring terrible consequences. Feeling troubled and distressed, Zheng Zhuang sought the advice of his advisors. One of them suggested that he should consult a wise and filial man named Cao, who was known for his intelligence and devotion to his own parents. When he visited Duke Zheng Zhuang, he brought 2 owls as gifts. The Zhou dynasty had a rich system of rituals, which will be discussed in the next issue. Why the owl as a gift? At that time, people didn't have the ability to conduct scientific research, so they only had legends and myths passed down from generation to generation. One legend was about the owl. It was said that when the owl was young, it would eat small insects from its mother's mouth to grow. But as it grew up, it would turn around and eat its mother. Therefore, the owl was considered an evil bird. So Cao brought 2 owls to Zheng Zhuang Gong and suggested that they eat their meat together. However, Zheng Zhuang Gong, a wise and kind-hearted leader, understood the implied criticism of himself and felt guilty. According to etiquette system, he presented Cao with a roasted lamb as a gift. Cao was very frugal and did not have much money. So, he couldn't afford to eat a whole roasted lamb. Instead, so regardless of etiquette, he snatched a lamb leg. This angered Zheng Zhuang Gong, who thought that Cao was rude and had no manners. However, Cao quickly explained that he had an elderly mother and asked the king to give the leg of lamb to her as a gift. The king was moved by Cao's filial piety and thought about his own mother. He sighed and felt a deep respect for Cao. When asked why he was so sad, he confided in Cao, a loyal minister. Zheng Zhuang Gong revealed that he had not seen his mother in a long time, and he missed her terribly. Cao listened intently to the king's problem and offered a solution. He suggested that they dig a hole in the ground and wait until they reached the water table. Once they found the water, they could name the place Yellow Springs and invite the king's mother to come and visit. The king was delighted with this idea and immediately sent his men to dig for water. After the water was found, the king's mother was brought to the Yellow Springs and reunited with her son. They cried tears of joy for a long time before returning to the capital city together. Impressed with the minister's wisdom, Zheng Zhuang Gong rewarded him by appointing him as a general in charge of the army. The king knew that Cao was a filial son who would be loyal to his family and his king. These were the qualities that the army needed most.